So it's episode 31 of the Hangar Hangouts. And I guess you got to look at it in positive light, right? It's November, right? Almost to Thanksgiving. And now we can officially start the mock drafts, the coaching searches, the talks of new GMs. I can't believe we are 3-7 with Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Garrett. You know what? It's gonna be a fun night tonight. It's gonna be a Jets rant. Let's talk about it.
I can do it all, I will never fall. If the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man. I can do it all, I will never fall. If the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here. Yeah. So there it is. Jets get their clock punched, or however you want to look at it, by the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, I'm talking about like an embarrassing fashion. This is one of those things where, like, I think this is one of the most painful Jets seasons I've ever endured as a Jets fan. And I think the reason being is because there was such high expectations for this team. And it wasn't just us. So I know a lot of people are going to say Jets fans are delusional. At some point or another, we got to own that, right? Because after that Patriots loss, we should have known then. But it was the Super Bowl predictions, the AFC champion predictions. Like, there were other, professionals who do this for a living that also believed that the New York Jets were going to go ahead and make some noise this season. Unfortunately, that's not really the situation. It wasn't our story. And tonight, we got Abby in the building. And we're going to go ahead and talk about it, about how this team has let us down yet again, and how we are obviously talking about rebuilds once again. It's been the longest rebuild in all of sports, and at this point, I guess all we have is the hope that maybe next year we'll figure it out. Abby, what's good?
We got the rant queen in the building.
Had to get you on board. After what we just witnessed on Sunday, I knew then. I was just like, yeah, now I got to hit up Abby and see if she's willing to come on and rant.
Well, I was there live.
Like, oh, yeah, no. I saw it. How are we here? I still don't know how we're here. I know we're here. It's obvious, right? We're 3-7, and in fact, I think we're actually at the bottom of the division right now. If I'm not mistaken, we're fourth right now because the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins also won. So we're currently in fourth place in the division. Week 10 of the season. How did we get here? I'm still at a loss for words about it.
One, I don't know if I even have an answer for you either. To be really honest, it is so crazy that there is so much talent on this team, and here we are with only 3 wins, and against some of the worst teams in the NFL right now on top of that. So it's truly embarrassing. And I'll be honest, like, being at that game, I was getting made fun of the entire game, and I truly felt embarrassed to be a New York Jets fan. I knew the game was going to be tough. I thought we were going to keep it close. And I knew very shortly after that we were going to lose the game. I bet $50 on the Jets. That's the one thing you don't do. You don't bet on the Jets. And I sent my friend the money at halftime. That's how you know I'm checked out. I was like, bro, here, just take it. I'm done.
Oh, man. You know what's crazy?
He was like, you still have you just have to come out the half strong. You guys get the ball. I'm like, don't. I know this.
That's the worst. That is the worst. When people try to go ahead and tell you, like, hey, there's plenty of time left. Shut up. Shut up. We've been. This team has done this to us before. We know what it looks like. I did my halftime. I did my Gunnies halftime freaking rant, and it was all like, "Woe is me. It's a wrap. Season's over." Because it was. You knew it was only going to get worse from that half. It wasn't going to get better.
And I mean, your like halftime thoughts were spot on. Like, I absolutely 100% agreed.
It's one of those things where I think we've seen this team do this to us time and time again, right? Like, this isn't new to us. Like, as a fan base, and we were just talking about it before we jumped on camera, but this is our fault. This is our fault. We talked, you know what I'm saying, you and I, and we talked about after the Patriots game. We knew then, wow, I can't believe we lost to this team. Our season is over. We knew the season was over, but the Texans did just enough. That win against the Texans did just enough to kind of suck us back in and allow us to go ahead and live in delusion for another week. But honestly, I don't know how we look at this team. And I think I saw somebody tweeted it out, and I apologize if you're watching and I didn't quote you, but I saw a tweet that said, like, the New York Jets have a bunch of players on the team, but they don't have teammates. They're not playing like a team. They're playing like a bunch of individuals. You're starting to see stuff come out now with Sauce Gardner's clapping back at freaking at streamers and at social media guys. When, let's be honest, man, he's been horrendous all season. I think we all kind of gave him a bit of a pass because, like, yeah, back-to-back All-Pros, et cetera, et cetera. But this is a guy that hasn't had a freaking interception since his rookie season. A guy that people are talking about paying $35 million a year for. And I don't know about you, but I've gotten to that point now where I'm realizing for this rebuild, he would be a very, very valuable piece in the trade. Somebody might be foolish enough to give us a couple of firsts for him. And I think at this point, you just got to look at that next chapter. And again, it's crazy. It's November. There's literally 7 games left in the season. And there's not a bit of hope in me. I don't know if there's any hope in you. Like, are you done? Are you ready for the rebuild? What are you thinking?
Where do you even see on the schedule that we win another game?
I don't.
We should beat the Colts, will we? I don't think so, because even they almost beat Buffalo. They remain competitive all game, at least. You know what I mean? And then I think about the Jags. I mean, they didn't even beat the Patriots. So what makes me think we're going to beat the Jags? And Miami found a way to win. That was the only other win. So I'm like, where is this team going to win on this schedule right now? I don't see it. I don't even think we get to 7 wins. So we're worse than last year. And that's what I hate. The Zach Wilson comparisons the last year, but it's the truth. It's the truth.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, right? The whole quarterback situation. Now, this is not my work. I didn't do this. This is genius stuff, but I saw it on Instagram, and there was no way I was not going to go ahead and steal this. I reached out and told him I was going to do it. But I think this right here is going to highlight a lot, like, how our season has gone, right? Jets_propaganda posted this video on Instagram, and I don't think it could be any better expressed as to exactly what we're seeing right before our eyes. I'm going to let y'all listen to this yourself.
I don't want to change, man. I like who I am.
I like who you are too, but look at that. You know? You don't want to believe this, but that ain't us up there no more, pal. We can't do that the way we did it before. We're changing. We're like turning into.
Now, Jets Propaganda posted that on Instagram, and he marked it as Aaron Rodgers having a conversation with Davante Adams. And I kid you not, I almost fell out my chair laughing because that's exactly what we're witnessing. Aaron Rodgers is done, man. I think he was finished in that last year in Green Bay, and we all thought, you know what I'm saying, it was the injury. We all thought it was the young receiver group. We all thought it was just we all thought it was everything else but Aaron Rodgers. And he got here, and he's playing just like he was playing that last year in freaking Green Bay. So it's, again, our fault. We convinced ourselves we were getting freaking Aaron Rodgers. Not even MVP Aaron Rodgers. We were hoping for a top 10, top 12 version of this guy, and we were going to be happy with that. But instead, we got the continuations of decline that we saw in Green Bay. And again, that video, again, I want you to think about this in the sense of it's Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams having a conversation after that loss, which is how Jets Propaganda posted it. Again, I don't know why it didn't show the whole thing, but it was awesome. But again, inside view of Aaron Rodgers talking to Davante Adams, brought to you by Jets Propaganda.
I don't want to change, man. I like who I am.
I like who you are too, but look at that. You know? You don't want to believe this, but that ain't us up there no more, pal. We can't do that the way we did it before. We're changing. We're like turning
Regular people. Did you ever thought you'd see the day where you'd have Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams on your team and you couldn't score a touchdown?
Never. And then we had points by a kicker who is like pretty much brand new. Who is that guy?
I don't know who that kid was.
Who he is.
Then I don't know who that. When I saw him go out there, I did the old freaking Conor McGregor like, who the fuck is that guy? I had no clue who he was. But you know what? He made his kicks. Got us the only points we got on the board.
That better than Zerline, I can tell you at this point.
I mean, at this point, I look at it this way, right? I think the team does need to go in the direction of a complete rebuild. Like Dark Soldier says it beautifully. This is the most disappointing season that I can think of in my life, and that's saying a lot because this team has let us down on numerous occasions in our lifetime. This isn't new to us, but I think again it's because of the hope, right? The last couple of years, the last 3 years, really. We've all been saying this, that the New York Jets are just a quarterback away. If they can just get the quarterback, they've got the defense. They've got the special teams. They've got a couple of key pieces on offense. If they can just get the quarterback, this team is going to be scary. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got the quarterback. We actually improved the offense. We actually improved the offensive line. The team as a whole got better, minus a little bit of depth loss on the defensive line. And they're worse. I'm with you. I don't know if we win 6 games this year. I'm looking at this. And it's something inside of me tells me that there's a chance that the freaking Patriots finish ahead of us in the division this year. And that's so gross to have to say out loud.
And it's crazy because I wanted Aaron Rodgers. I stood on that hill and I was like, go all in. And I was like, I don't care that he brought all the drama. I was with it as long as we were winning games. And now I feel like I look like the biggest like jackass right now because he hasn't been good. I don't know how he's missing Devontae Adams. Everything seems to be underthrown, overthrown. He's immobile. And you know what? I'm getting closer and closer to he's washed. And the thing is, at the same time, he's so prideful that I think he'll want to come back next year. And I'm going to be like, please don't.
God help us.
Exactly. We'll have 42 mil in dead cap.
42 million dead cap. We'll take the L. We'll take that
literally, I will take it at that point.
I'm with you. And I do believe that in his mind, he's going to convince himself and potentially Woody Johnson that it's okay. It's a work in progress. Just bring us all back next year. We'll run it back and then we'll get it done right. I think it's time for us to be honest, man. I watched Aaron Rodgers this week stare down a wide open Garrett Wilson and a wide open Malachi Corley and not throw the ball. And he stared them down and then threw the ball late and somehow blamed it on Malachi Corley for throwing the ball behind Malachi. Like, I saw that and I was like, all right. At first, I was like, okay, maybe these guys just aren't getting it, right? It's Aaron Rodgers. You got to have a high IQ to play with the dude. Like, you got to be on the same page. But when Devontae Adams got here and I started seeing a lot of those same misses happening, I'm like, okay, maybe it's a little bit of the rust, but a couple of games underneath and they'll be all right. But these throws are just errant throws. Like, they're not great throws. Aaron Rodgers seems to be off the mark. And apparently in his mind, it's everyone else's fault but him. At some point, you got to look back and be like, well, damn, everybody else is doing the wrong thing. And it's just me that's figured it out. Maybe it's not everybody else. Maybe it's me. Go ahead.
I know I broke that play down in my rant this week too, because I'm like, why? First of all, why are you even throwing it to Malachi Corley? You have Garrett Wilson
wide
in
open.
The end zone. You're a playmaker. Get it to him. He was wide open. And then you don't have a connection with Malachi Corley on top of that. He's not going to sit there and wait in the pocket because the defender was going to pick up on it as well. So you threw it late. He was wide open early. He just threw it late. And then, I saw how frustrated he was. And I was like, that is absolutely ridiculous, dude. Like, I don't understand this man sometimes, you know what I mean? And I've defended him time and time again. But like, I'm sure you saw Mike Williams throw a little shade.
Yeah, he did.
The red line.
Red line.
Yeah. Oh, cherry on top of the
God
shit show that was the Cardinals game this week. the cherry on top of it for me. I had a terrible Sunday. Terrible.
Nah, you're feeling the same pain I felt a couple weeks back when I was at the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Jets game. Like that was rough. Then I had to do the walk of shame from the stadium back to the hotel in a sea of black and gold, and rocking an Aaron Rodgers jersey like a moron. Yeah, no, it was tough. It was tough. So I know where you're coming from. I understand the pain you're dealing with right now. The embarrassment is it's just so surreal because this is again we talked about the last couple of years, man. Like, man, 7 wins with the worst quarterback play in all of sports. But you watch out. If we get even average quarterback play, we're gonna do damage. And I don't know what we can call what Aaron Rodgers is doing is. But to be fair, also the defense is falling off. Special teams is falling off. It's like the whole team fell off the moment like Aaron Rodgers suited up and got healthy. They don't play for each other. They seem disconnected. Todd, I think, makes a very good point here too. I think the Jets are better off Reed and trading Sauce Gardner. I personally agree with that. I think Reed would come in cheaper, and he's done more in the last couple of years in terms of impact plays, right, as a cornerback. So I'd be okay with that. You're going to get more for you're going to get more for a guy like a Sauce Gardner anyway in terms of a trade package. So it just makes sense. But yeah, how do you feel about freaking DJ Reed trading for trading Sauce Gardner and keeping DJ Reed?
I'd be okay with that. Overall, I think DJ Reed has just been playing much better. He's playing like he's fighting for a freaking contract. You know what I mean? At least I see some effort. You know what I mean? I know there was that touchdown in the end zone, I think to MHJ, where he didn't turn his head. But they're not going to be – we already knew that the defense was going to take a step back this year. Yeah. We already said that. Now, this much of a step back, didn't see that coming. But it's gotten worse. I talked about it a little. Jeff Ulbrich, he's still managing both duties, and it's been worse.
Yeah.
Like you can't do both. And the defense has taken a severe step back in these last couple of weeks, especially. But yeah, I'd be okay with that. Sauce getting all mad like about Twitter and stuff like that. We can be critical because he just hasn't been good. That is a fact. And it pains me to say that. You have not been good. You're not PS2 whatsoever. And, the penalties are an issue too. And you know what? That tackle with Trey McBride is just a big dude. So I don't necessarily blame him, but don't also be mad that the fans, you missed the tackle at the end of the day. Don't be mad that we're criticizing you, because at the end of the day, you should have had him down. But I get it. Trey McBride's dog, he hurdled over someone. The next player, he hurdled over someone. So, but yeah, they just can't take any criticism. And at the same time, though, I don't want to drive some of these players out. But, I mean, that Matt O'Leary drama, that was ridiculous, dude.
Right?
Why do you just delete your social medias like what most people do and just go MIA? You are picking a fight with, these fans are frustrated, and they do not get it. He's been here, 2-3 years? You don't get it.
He doesn't get it. Yeah. And that's the perfect way of putting it too. He's fresh here. He just got here. He has no understanding of what we've had to endure as a fan base. Like my boy, you just got here, man. You're currently a renter as a part of the Rodgers organization. We're all homeowners. We've all been dedicating time, money, energy, effort into this organization for years. You just got here, my boy. So yeah, you're going to take this criticism because it wasn't just the one missed tackle. You've been doing this consistently week in and week out since the beginning of the year. We already knew it was an issue in the beginning. We knew all right, he's not a great tackler, but that's cool. You know what I'm saying? He's a great coverage guy. He's going to be a guy that can erase somebody off out of a game. But you haven't even done that this year. You haven't erased anybody out of the game this year. You can't tackle. You can't create turnovers. You're out there collecting a check, and your name is Ahmad Gardner to me. Your mama called you Ahmad. I'm going to call you Ahmad. Until further notice, I will not call that man Sauce, because Sauce is for winners, and he's not that. To go out of your way to go after Matt O'Leary, who, by the way, is a huge fan of Sauce. It's always been positive. Even when Sauce is having bad games, he finds a way to find a positive. But that was blatant. And the only reason you even got a response from most people is because your reaction to Twitter saying oh yeah, I'm sure missing freaking that tackle with 17 yards, bro, it turned into a touchdown. We were down by one score. You make that tackle, We're getting the ball back. Who knows what could happen? A momentum swing, something. Ever heard of a momentum shift? We could have used it. You missed that tackle. They get the first down. That drive turns into more points, and you add to the gap we needed to. But the thought process of not just saying, like, I need to be better, right? Like, you're supposed to be a leader and a grown man. You missed your job is defense. You're supposed to tackle people. That's what you're getting paid to do. I hated the fact that he got to the point where he got back on Twitter, which, by the way, I thought he was canceling Twitter or he was off Twitter or something like that. Like a couple of weeks back, he stated that. That was a lie. Jumps on there and starts to go ahead and react emotionally to frustrated fans. Yeah, now, I mean, listen, I love Sauce, as you can tell. I got the jersey up there. I got a freaking signed mini helmet as well of Sauce Gardner back there. But at the end of the day, man, I'm a Jets fan first. I'm a Players fan second. And my team looks like trash. Like, this team that I've dedicated my heart and soul to looks like trash. So I am frustrated. And the whole, like, come play corner for a week. All right, relax, my guy. Relax. There's a lot of freaking regular people jobs you probably couldn't get through in a week as well. Come go to Marine Corps boot camp for a week. Let's do that. Like, I hate when freaking the athletes do that crap. Like, you suck at your job right now, bro. How about you play corner this week? We'd like to see you play cornerback this week. Like, that was extremely frustrating to me. Hold the L. Do like the best way you can get revenge on all of us, on anyone to shut us up, is go ball out. Go ball out. Throwing a tantrum, freaking responding to Twitter beefs and whatnot, just to add to the fact that now you're not only being called Charmin on the field, you're being called Charmin on social media because you're so soft. I don't see how you win there. Like, there's no winning there.
Yeah, and we already know, like, there was 20 missed tackles in that game. He was just happened to be that one just happened to be blatantly obvious. That's why it was called out. You know what I mean? And it was a huge down. But I like Sauce, but I'm a big Garrett Wilson fan. He is my favorite player on the team right now. But even when he had that interception off his shoulder, I said that was on him. Yep. I don't think that was on Rodgers. That was on you. You know what I mean? And you don't see Garrett Wilson out here tweeting and doing whatever.
But he said it was on him. Garrett Wilson was just like, yeah, nah, unacceptable. Like, that was on me. I can't be mad. Like, bet, you know what? Nobody came for him. We all know he messed up. We all knew that was on him. He owned it, told us, like, I jacked that up. I'm got to be better than that. That's all we're asking, that you're feeling it the way we're feeling it. Like, it hurts you as much as it hurt us to watch you, one of our, cause us, to play like that. G5 to me is I look at this roster, and I said this the other day to my boy. I said, like, I really thought we had a bunch of elite freaking players on this freaking team. Like, we had studs and everything. In all actuality, as you break it down legitimately, Garrett Wilson might be the only elite player we have. Like, he might be the only individual that I think we're seeing him play great right now, and there's still more room for growth. Like, I'm seeing, like, Aaron Rodgers has missed him consistently this season. I feel like there's still more room for growth for a guy like Garrett Wilson. We've got some good to great guys, right? But I think in terms of an elite player, I used to say Brees, Sauce, freaking Garrett, JJ. I used to be sipping on the Jet sauce. But now I'm like, honestly, man, I think it might just be Garrett Wilson. Quinnen's falling off of a cliff. I don't know what's going on with him. Quincy is taking a step backwards. Freaking the offense in general, I mean, Olu looked decent, for his couple of left tackles. So I'm hoping to see more of that moving forward as seeing him progress. But I don't know, man. I don't know how to fix it. I think this is the most frustrating part about watching this team play football, is because now, right, before we all thought, like, we just need a quarterback, a left tackle. Like, you could give some direction as to how we can see the team get better. And we thought we did that in the offseason. Hell, all of social media and sports announcers and casters and sports analysts thought we did that. But now you look at this team and you're like, damn, like what? Like, where do you start?
And all I said was wild card. That was I thought I was minimizing my expectations. I just said wild card. People were going AFC East, Super Bowl. I was not on that train, and it turned out even worse. Yeah,
my dumb ass was just like, we're gonna run the table to AFC East. We're gonna go ahead and be a contender in the AFC for the first overall seed. Like a dumbass. I just again, it's the Jets. I'm a fan of the team. I get a little bit overly optimistic, and now I know the error of my ways. Because a lot of these tweets that I put out there and these videos, I'm seeing people come back on old videos. It's like, how about them Jets? Thought y'all were going to go ahead and win the AFC East. Look at you, bottom feeder. And all I can do is sit there and be like, yeah, nah, you right. You got me on that one. I made a mistake. It's a Jets thing. It's a Jets thing. We make this mistake. It seems like every single year.
We're saying next year already.
We're already doing it. We're looking at mock drafts. We're trying to figure out what coaches we're going to bring in, our next general manager. Like, we're already doing it now as a fan base because in our minds, we really believe, like, okay, we can fix this. This can be fixed, right? You look at teams like the Lions. Look at the ridiculous turnaround that Dave had. You know what I'm saying? The Houston Texans just went through the fastest rebuild of all time after trading away Deshaun Watson. The shambles that they were in. Like, you know, the Cleveland Browns were able to go ahead and get it right for a little while when they drafted freaking Baker Mayfield. You know, they went to the playoffs. Like, we can't be that far off, right? But in all actuality, I just don't know. I mean, I know who I would want to be in the building, but the bigger question is, why would they want to be in the building? It just seems like there's just so much disarray, and this team just can't get anything right. Do you see the Jets bringing in somebody of note that can potentially turn this thing around, whether it's the coach or the GM or the president of football operations? Do you think this job is in any way appealing to some of the A-listers that we potentially could have a shot at?
I think it could be. Here's what I'm hoping, and not to get all political, but Woody Johnson will probably accept some sort of position with
Thank God.
the president-elect.
Go away.
I'm hoping you go away after that, and then just leave us alone. Like he's like Jerry Jones, just too involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the president of the president of like VP operations, I thought that was a good idea. I think the job is appealing because we have players who are appealing. You have Gary Stud and Garrett Wilson. I don't know if coaches will want to work with Aaron Rodgers, though, to be honest. But I mean, Joe Douglas doesn't even seem like he wants to be here either.
Did you see that press conference he did? Mm-hmm. My God, that man looked like he's done. I guess he looked like a whip dog that was just sitting there. The whole comment of like, I serve at the pleasure of the owner. I was just like, man, that sounds like a hostage with a gun in the back of his head being told what to say. I think that we're going to lose Joe Douglas. And in all actuality, and I'll admit, I was definitively on team keep Joe. That's my guy. He put the best roster we've seen in God knows for how long. Like, we need to keep him, give that man a statue. I was obviously an idiot, right? Like, I was looking at things with the Jets glasses on, and the guy's one of the most losingest general managers in our history. He picked a loser coach. He's created a loser culture. You made some picks who got us excited for a little while and fooled us for a little bit, but when things started to matter more, you saw this whole thing fall apart. Yeah, so Joe D's gone. I think he's gone. But I will say I think he's gone more so because he's gonna resign than he's gonna get fired. I do believe Woody likes him and that Woody is excited with what he's seen in that locker room. But I think that Joe D's gone, and I don't know who fixes it. I've heard some people talk about, the Lions, Ben Johnson. I would love for him to be the head coach. I really would. The assistant GM over there, I'm having a brain fart right now, but the assistant GM for the Lions, bringing those two over here as a pair, give them autonomy in terms of creating the culture and creating that winning image of what we're hoping to get. I would love that. I would love Ben Johnson. I know some people are like, no, I don't want any more freaking hot shot, coordinators. But we've really never tried this. We've really never tried the hot shot offensive coordinator coming in and being the coach. We've done a hot shot defensive coordinator. We've done that quite a bit, right? But the NFL is going a route to where you've got to go ahead and be able to put points up. If you can't put points up, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And the era of like defense wins championships, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's great, right? And you're gonna need a defense to win championships. You got to put up points, though, in the NFL to actually get to the championship. Like, right now, the Jets, again, I'm going to say this again. The Jets have Aaron Rodgers, They have Devontae Adams. They have Brees Hall. They have Garrett Wilson. They were all on the field, healthy, on Sunday, and they couldn't score a touchdown. Like, I don't know how you look at that and don't realize we have a problem offensively. Like, the defense was bad. It's bad. But we were expecting this offense to be at least a top 10 offense. And we were hoping our top 3 defense fell to that top 5 to top 10. And we thought our special teams was legit. Like, hey, we brought everybody back. We're going to have that top 5 special teams. And that was the formula. And in hindsight, we were way off. We miscalculated drastically what we really believed we had. I just don't understand how we took what we all believe to be 3, 4, 5 steps forward just to take 20 backwards. Because we're looking at a full freaking rebuild right now. Abby, we're looking at a rebuild again. The third one in a decade? Like, how are we still doing this again?
Well, and someone was asking me about the draft and be like, what do you think we need? I'm like, everything.
Everything.
You could look, I could see an argument for a quarterback. I could see an argument for the offensive line. I could see an argument for a linebacker. Anyone in the secondary, depending how it works out. The defensive line on top of that. We need everything.
Everything.
Where the F do you even start? It's in shambles.
And this is why I think you need to make a trade that's going to allow us to go ahead and try to expedite this process. Because Dana Salah is laughing at us right now. I bet he is. Because I think Ulbrich was exciting because we were hoping for a product that showed us better prepared. Like, we were hoping that because Salah kept giving us all those freaking like cool moto, like freaking like lingos. And we were like, hell yeah, that sounded awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like motivational stuff. We were putting it on shirts, all gas, no brakes. Like we were doing all this stuff. But the dude consistently showed us a product that was unprepared, undisciplined. And then most times, like, they didn't even care because he would then talk about how, we know what to work on. We're going to get better, blah, blah, blah. We're going to keep doing the same thing over, expecting different results. So we thought Ulbrich, having seen how that didn't work and being given this opportunity to go ahead and be, a first-time head coach, something he says he dreamed about, that he was going to look at those missteps and do better. He's doing the same thing he's been taught to do as a defensive coordinator, but now not only is the head coach lost, the defense is lost. So, like, in the firing of Salah, you in essence lost 2 coaches. Your defensive mind, and you lost the head coach. Ulbrich isn't the head coach, and I think the bricked up freaking hashtag lasted all of a week and a half, and then we realized that we don't have the guy in the building. But you're right, though. We do need everything. We need. I think we need quarterback. I think we need offensive line help. We need defensive line help. I think we're going to need another guy in the secondary once we either trade Sauce or let DJ Reed go. At linebacker, CJ Mosley will be back next year. It's going to cost us too much to let him walk away. But you like what you've seen so far in some of the younger guys. Quincy's under contract. So there are pieces. I won't pretend like there's no pieces, right? Quinnen's under contract.
JJ will be back next year.
JJ will be back next year too, right? You know what I'm saying? And Will McDonald's has been a fierce, in terms of getting to the quarterback. So when I talk about, like, what are we going to do? Like, I think it's more the frustration aspect of being in this case. We're here again talking about rebuilds. But for me, it's all going to depend on whether or not Aaron Rodgers frees us of his existence as a Jets quarterback. Because I do believe if he decides he wants to come back and he believes he can go ahead and he's going to come back. And then I don't think we get anybody worthy of being a head coach to come into this building and deal with an Aaron Rodgers. I think that's the biggest thing.
No, I absolutely agree. And he'll probably go on another darkness retreat and see if he's going to leave us in the dark for 10 days and decide if he's going to retire or not. I mean, you have to realize, again, before he did that retreat, he was 90% sure he was going to retire.
Yep.
So I can only imagine, after being behind this offensive line and just the atrocity that this season has been, it has to be like closer to 100 now. That shit's got to be at like 97%, bro. Like, just like I said, I would gladly just eat the L and move on. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks, but I'd like top to bottom, just get rid of everybody. And I don't, and it's very, I literally
Demoralizing. That's the word you're looking for.
believe it. Like my soul is crushed to the core. Like I don't know how this happened. Like I look at both of us, just like we have no words.
I don't. Again, I gotta give shout out and props to every Jets content creator, man. You, Abby, you getting up there back on, like, to be able to get in front of a camera and talk about this team when you love this team so much and you're a fan of this team. Yeah, it hurts, man. Like, it really hurts because I don't want to be talking about this. I do not want to be talking about how bad this team is. I don't want to be talking about how we're going to be rebuilding yet again. But here we are in November before freaking Thanksgiving talking exactly that, and we've been doing that for the last several years. Like, it's been our story. It's been our song now. By mid-November, the Jets are out of it. Actually, usually it's been by October. So I guess we can say, at least statistically, statistically speaking, statistically speaking, we're still in it, but I'm not going there with anybody. I'm not doing that anymore. But like, usually we've been out by now, right? Jets eliminated from the playoffs. You see those banners come out in like freaking like the beginning of mid-October to November, and you're like, damn, one of the first teams eliminated. We've been it. I don't know what to do. And again, like you said, we need so much. Take flight today, says John Gruden. I don't know. So on the one hand, you've got a guy.
It's
right
a
now,
no for me.
like So I say no because I think that what that would bring to the it would just be too much chaos, much more of a zoo than we need, right? But this is a guy who knows offense, and the Raiders were on a winning track before he wound up freaking having to resign due to his his personal choices. I'm with Abby. I'm gonna say no, right? Like, and this is how desperate I am as a Jets fan just to win games, and I would even consider John Gruden right now, knowing the baggage that he brings with him. But I think that when you're talking about a media market like New York, like the moment it goes bad, it's the Jets brought in freaking John Gruden, knowing his history and then he's not even getting the win. Like, it's just going to compound how negative that's going to outlook on us, and we're already a desperate franchise. I think that would add another element of desperation to it. I'm going to go with no for John Gruden as well.
What about Rex Ryan?
I go with no on that one too, and I think people think I'm crazy.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I just want to start fresh. I love Rex Ryan. Trust me.
I do.
He's great. I love the energy. I think he would bring it back here to New York. I want to just start new. If we're going to blow it up completely. Don't bring anything back from our past in here. Blow it up.
Yeah, and a lot of people I think forget that, like, as fun as Rex was, right? And again, love Rex Ryan. He's given me the best years of this Jets product, in my lifetime as a fan. Like, he literally provided me with the best 4 years, I would say, as a Jets fan. But we're forgetting that towards the back end, like Rex Ryan, when he had to start making his defense and offense work with players that weren't Pro Bowl caliber, like wasn't that elite roster that he inherited. Yeah, you started to see some holes in his ability to coach games. Like, it became apparent that the X's and O's aspect, he wasn't quite high on that like we thought he was, and he got eaten up alive because of that. And again, love Rex Ryan. Could he have learned from that by now? Probably, yeah. But why are we going back? Like, again, the two coaches in the last 20 years have won. I'm lying. It's three. Three head coaches have won the Super Bowl in the last 20 years that were defensive-minded head coaches. Just three. Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, and freaking Mike Tomlin. That's it. Every other head coach has been an offensive-minded head coach. I think we just need to go ahead and look at what the NFL is laying out in front of us and telling us offense is the way to do it, right? There's not a lot of not a lot of Dan Campbells out there who can go ahead and shift things in a heartbeat. Not a lot of Mike Tomlins. D'Amico Ryan, I think, is another one of those guys who's defensive minded guy but everybody else, if you look at them, offensive minded head coaches doing their thing, right? Even the Miami Dolphins right now, where I do we not think that if we had a guy like freaking McDaniel. A guy like McDaniel, that he couldn't squeeze several more wins out of this roster? I believe so.
Look at the Cardinals with
Oh my
Jonathan
gosh, yeah.
Gannon. Perfect example. And like I was arguing with my friend. The Cardinals don't even have, besides Buda Baker, who else do they got on their defense? No,
Couldn't tell you.
nobody.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, because they invested in the offense and they got a mobile quarterback. They picked up a good wide receiver. They have an awesome tight end, and they're making it work. They're just making it work. Oh, and a running back too. I'm not gonna. I'm blanking. James Conner. There we go.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess James Conner. The running game in general though has been pretty good for those guys. But I still put that on coaching. You got a guy like freaking Kyler Murray who looked like he was a bust after his rookie year. All of a sudden, he looked like a pro, an all pro playing against us. You know what I'm saying? The number four defense in the NFL. So I think when you look at it that way, like, yeah, I just want an offensive minded guy. I just do. I at this point, I want to go ahead and catch up to the 21st century of NFL football, and score points. And I see Ray Agnew. I wouldn't be opposed to Ray Agnew, right? That's another person that I think could come in here and go ahead and potentially get it done right. But I think you need to couple him with some good coordinators as well, and a GM that's going to really help him build the roster. I see Adam Gase, right? So Eagle fans is Adam Gase. Okay, so he wasn't a hot shot coordinator. So he wasn't a hot shot offensive coordinator. His thing was he was a quarterback guru. Nobody ever said his offenses were lighting things up, right? But before the Jets got him, I think people forget that, like, he was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. So, like, he went to the Miami Dolphins and was the head coach there. So he wasn't a hot shot coordinator. He was a head coach coming to be a head coach. Epic failure. That was, again, Woody Johnson listening to a guy like Peyton Manning, and hence why we got stuck with Adam Gase. But I digress. Not the same thing, Eagle fan. I don't think you look at – I never thought that Adam Gase was a offensive guru or a hot shot offensive mind. I thought that his work with quarterbacks, as we were all told because professionals said otherwise, was what made him impressive. But I want a legitimate offensive mind that we're seeing proven right now, putting up bonkers amount of points like the Lions are doing right now. They won a game this past week when freaking Jared Goff threw for 5 interceptions. 5 interceptions.
I mean, look at the good teams find a way to win. Look at the Chiefs. I feel like they knew we're going to block this punt. And that's what happened.
Yep.
That's what happened. I couldn't believe it.
Thanks,
and I couldn't even believe the game either. Like, what a terrible game. Good teams find ways to win.
Yeah, I'll say this. So the Chiefs right now are 9-0. If y'all were to pull up the Chiefs stats in terms of offensive production, you'd be like, how are they 9-0? I'm not mistaken. Aaron Rodgers somehow has better stat lines than Patrick Mahomes. The only difference is when he needs to make a play, he makes that play, and has been the difference maker. So you're right, man. Winning organizations win games. The Lions are a winning organization. The Chiefs are a winning organization. Even when the quarterback has an off night or the offense isn't kicking, the rest of the team picks up the slack, right? You saw it again, special teams blocking that kick for them to win the game. I really believe they believed, like you just said, they were going to make that block. I don't think they were thinking like, man, we're free. I think they knew like, yeah, we're going to make this block. We're good. Win this game. And they did so. Johnny Boy says it every time I watch this team and I get hype. It's like getting kicked in the nuts constantly on the pain. Listen, bro. Yeah. And I think for us too, because we're so loud and vocal as Jets fans, it's then having to wake up the next day and go to work. And I get roasted at work constantly now. I got a freaking, Klecko freaking jersey hung up in my office. So everybody in my office knows I'm a Jets fan. They all know I'm somewhere probably watching this podcast right now, looking to laugh at me again tomorrow at the office. But then we're on social media. We're very, very proud of this team. We ride or die for this team. And then we got to go ahead and find the energy and the strength to deal with every troll, because they're coming for us. Deservingly so. We did this to ourselves, but they're coming for us. So then we got to go ahead, not only endure the pain of having lost that game. Like, you went to that game and had to deal with that loss, and then I'm sure you had to deal with the trolls. It was just a part of your homage.
You do your halftime thoughts. I do an immediate reaction. It was 25 seconds, 12,000 views because people just love to come in there. And I didn't even say anything really. So like in 20 seconds, I just said season's over. It's a wash. And the trolls all come. And I fully expect it too, each and every single week. But I was trying to put together like I feel like now I could put a chapter of a book together about how many people text me after the game, like being like, you poor soul. Thank you I was having people this weekend thanking me for staying the entire game and not leaving. They're like, you are a true loyal fan. We appreciate you. That is how bad it was this weekend.
That was me at the Steelers game. Like, literally by like mid fourth quarter, they were like, man, I don't know how you're doing it. It's you and that one guy way over there. You guys are still here. I would have been left if it was me in your shoes. And I just kind of sat there like, yeah, we've grown accustomed to this. But there's something about me that just tells me I can't walk out on this team right now. They might not believe in themselves, but I believe in them. So be it. And I stick around.
And the fans, there was 2 fans in front of me too. And they were like, well, we already paid for it. They were Jets fans. They were like, well, we already paid for the seats, so we might as well just stay the whole time and then finish our beer. That was the only good thing that came out of that game was that hit by Quincy Williams on Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that was nice.
Flew off.
That was nice.
It was like boom, like, and everyone was like, live was like, oh, because it was huge. Otherwise, Kyler Murray got right back up and drove it down the rest of the field like nothing.
That's what I think. That hurt more, actually, right? Because I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw the hit. I jumped up, celebrated. In my head, I was like, all right, that's got to be an energy shift, right? That was big. Look at Kyler Murray. He's probably gonna be a little man. Just stood back up, picked up his helmet, and then drove down the field. I was like, damn, all right. We weren't winning that game. We weren't winning that game.
Game from the first drive that we had. I was like, this game's over. We didn't even score. I was like, and I've watched enough. I obviously live here in Arizona. I've watched enough Arizona Cardinals football to know what kind of team that they are. And I was like, they're going to just keep driving it down. They didn't have a punt. They didn't have a punt until I forgot which quarter it was. The third, maybe the second half. They didn't have
it was the third quarter.
Yeah. Atrocious.
Yeah, no, I won't lie. When they just walked down the field on us, I was just like, man, it's gonna be a long night. But in my head, I thought, okay, all right, the defense isn't showing up, but the way the offense played against the Texans, I think, maybe if they just start off like that, then they had a pretty good. I won't lie, they had a pretty good drive where they were moving the ball. They couldn't capitalize. Shouldn't surprise us. That's what they do. They can't capitalize. I thought to myself, all right, I gave him the first quarter. And I just kept telling myself, like, okay, all I need is just one big spark of a play. We're right back into it. By the second quarter, I already had my halftime rant ready to go. Like, I knew I knew where I was going to go with it. I knew it was over then. I actually recorded something like on my couch, like in the second quarter, and I said to myself, nah, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Get the full picture, so before you make a fool of yourself, just jump in the gun. Everything I recorded on the couch, I was able to record outside the house as well. It didn't matter. It was everything that I had recorded after the first quarter. I went outside and just repeated it because it's what happened. It's exactly what freaking happened.
10 days to prepare, and that's how you show up.
Yep.
10 days. And Aaron Rodgers said he felt great. He was
That's
healthy,
the worst part.
Said.
That's the worst part. Make me believe you're hurt, bro. Make me believe like, you're still battling the knee issue or the ankle. To tell me you felt great and that y'all just had some of the best practice y'all have had in a while, and then you put that out there, it let me know right there and then our season's done. Like, you guys mean to tell me like Rodgers, who knows how to win, he's been in this league for a long time, you trust his opinion on like what good practices look like, what like you believe he knows. He's been on a winning organization for the majority of his career, and that's the product you put out there. Let me know right there and then we were screwed. I was like, yeah, now we're screwed. Like, ultimately, as a Jets fan, compliments of the Bleacher Report. This is how the majority of our nights I expect will go for the rest of the season, because this was my night on Sunday night. Just pain. It's just pain.
Remember how I slept on Sunday. I think I just was like, I was just exhausted because I went to the game. It was a whole day experience. That's what the NFL experience was. It's an all day event. And then I finally sat down and it took me a minute to actually unwind and really be like take a deep breath and like, did I just witness that? You know, I even took, and you know what? I went to the Cardinals game back in like 2017 when they played the Jets. The score was pretty much the damn same. I think the first time I went 30-3, 31-6. I'm never going to State Farm Stadium again. Not for the Jets game. Nope.
No.
And thank God they flexed us out of next week.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that the NFL was so thoughtful for that, because I think we've been asking for it for a while now, and they must have heard and they were like, you know what, these guys are bums. They're cooked. Let's spare the fan base from being embarrassed in prime time yet again. Because I honestly look at this game this week and I don't think we win it. I just don't. I see Joe Flacco, who's playing decent football right now. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan Taylor, he's getting his groove underneath him. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to run that ball down our throats. I think it's going to be embarrassing. People are like, "Oh, well, it's the Colts." Like, no. But right now, I'm seeing a defense that's on social media just distraught and getting beaten up by fans. So if we're hurting your feelings via social media, and I'm talking to you, Quincy, you, Sauce Gardner, like if you guys are jumping on social media, like, you know, clapping back against fans who are frustrated at the product you've provided us with, I think football players are going to knock y'all on y'all ass. And I think Jonathan Taylor is going to do exactly that. I don't see a situation this week. In fact, I don't see a situation for the remainder of the season where I can look at any game and think to myself, hell yeah, this one? Yeah, it's a lock. We got this one. This team, to me, Rodgers says it perfectly, same old Jets, which means any given Sunday they're going to disappoint you. And that's more likely than it is for them to surprise you. So at this point, 7 games left. If the Jets can get to 7 wins, it'll be a shocker. Like, I really am watching games now with the hopes of like, okay, can the rest of the AFC East, minus the Bills, of course, who are going to walk into another AFC East title uninhibited with arguably the least talented roster they've had in the last 4 years that they've won the AFC East title. Somehow, some way, they still are going to be the AFC East champs for the 5th year in a row. I just hope, you know what I'm saying, the other teams suck too. Like I said, I watch games. I'm watching the Patriots now, hoping for L's, watching the Dolphins game now, hoping for L's, because no one's catching the freaking Bills. So there's no point in me hoping somebody can dethrone them, because I'm sick and tired of them too. Now I just, you know, misery loves company. I'm just rooting for L's for everybody. I hope the Bills start losing, the Dolphins start losing, the Patriots start losing, because I believe we're going to be losing. So I would rather be in a miserable AFC East conference collectively as a fan base than have to sit at the bottom. Right now we're in the basement looking up at every other team right now in the freaking division. So yeah, that's what I want. I want every team to start catching L's.
The fact is, I will still watch every game because that's just who I am. That's just
100%.
the fan that I am.
Yep.
My investment level, they will be on my phone, and I will watch another good game on the big screen. They have now been demoted. I'm not
demoted to the small screen.
Yeah, I'm not going to be out here wearing my jersey all loud and proud. Like, I'll still wear my Jets shirt to the gym maybe, but otherwise, like, I'm not going to go above and beyond for this team anymore. There's been, you know what? Even the Texans game, I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave work early. It's Thursday night football. I'm going to get home. I'm going to be in front of the TV. And, you know, they got me all hyped. And then now I'm like, and I said I wasn't going to do that before that. I ended up doing it. And now I'm like, I've totally lost interest. You're never going to know what you're going to get with this team from here on out. Like, we are fighting for our lives. And we haven't even hit the bye week yet. We have one more week, but I told everybody at the start of the season, we are going to fight for our lives till the bye week. And we are fighting for our lives till the Patriots game, the second one. Like, it's just, we are literally limping to the bye week. And even then, what is that break going to do? We do terrible coming off
After
of a
our
long
break, yeah.
break. Yep.
I think that's the craziest part, right? Is that this schedule was laid out perfectly for the Jets to go ahead and make a run. You had the advantage in terms of talent level, or so we thought anyway. The majority of the schedule, we had one of the easier schedules in the league. We have the second softest schedule in the back half of the season right now, as of 2 weeks ago. And you know what? It doesn't matter. None of it matters because this team is not real. These are this is not a real football team. It's a bunch of individuals that get to rock that New York Jets jersey and get paid millions of dollars to go ahead and show up on Sundays, and pretend to put a product out there. Roger F with a great comment. Jets football started in the 20th century, and we are still rebuilding. 1/4 of the 21st century. Fun fact: anytime Jets won championship, Richard Nixon was president. Hey man, like listen, so you're saying like we're due, like we're overdue is what you're saying, Roger. Is what I'm hearing. You're telling me right now we're right about there, man. We're just right around the corner on figuring
No
this thing
stat.
out.
No stat surprises me with this team anymore. It just gets worse and worse weekly.
Oh man. So I got this from could not add image preacher. For some reason they won't let me add that image. Oh, it's an HEIC format, I think is probably why. But it can I share my screen? Hold on, let me try this. I'm gonna try something real quick. So I got this from Dark Soldier. Share it. Window. Here it is. Boom. Can y'all see that? Will it show up? There it is. So he sent this to me, and I thought it was comical because it's so accurate, right? And it kind of just breaks down the rut that the Jets are in, right? So at the top of it, it says greatest offseason ever. This is our year. JETS, 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 Jets. Hype cycle starts before any games are played. The second ring says something catastrophic happens. Season is over. We're currently where it states Jets win some game they shouldn't. Hype cycle starts all over again for the sole purpose of building for another letdown, which I would say like that just happened. I think the Texans game was that, and the Cardinals game has now brought us back down to earth. And now we are on track to lose a bunch of games they should have won for whatever reason. Insert here, because he's right. It's just we're going to see it just a bunch of games lost right now, and we're just going to find new ways to embarrass ourselves week in and week out. Eventually, we're going to get to already out of the playoffs, but with some games that screws our draft position. And I think that's the most telling component, is that we know how this works. We've seen this happen numerous times. Thank you again, Dark Soldier, for sharing that with us, man.
This is great.
It's great because he sent that to me via text. Yes, I think it was yesterday, and I looked at it and I just laughed, and I wanted to go ahead and show it up, but it wouldn't download because it's HEIC. But there it is. That is literally the New York Jets life cycle, the circle of life for the New York Jets. And he's right. The New York Jets are going to find a way to go ahead and make their draft position worse, because we're not going to win games that matter. We're not going to win games in a way that what the crap. We're not going to win games that matter, or in a way that like it's going to benefit getting to the playoffs or nothing like that. We're going to win some meaningless games that we shouldn't, and we're going to go from maybe a top 7, top 5 pick to a top 15 pick. Just to where like it's a good, maybe a premium pick, but not like an impactful pick. And then we get to stick in purgatory. The cycle begins again. Like we're just stuck in purgatory, and we just keep going. It's gotten to the point now where this team is just so consistent in being disappointing that I think we can only blame ourselves. I mean, honestly, we know this enough now as a fan base. We know what they're about. We know how they treat us. But we just keep, I think Johnny said it beautifully. We're in a toxic relationship with this team where we love them. We love them like we want us to succeed as a together. We want to go ahead and see them happy so we can be happy. But like they're not recuperating that. Like it's all about them. They're very narcissistic, right? They don't really care about us. They tell us they're going to go ahead and be better, but they never do. They don't change for us. They just keep doing the same thing. We go to therapy, right? Which is the off season for us. We go to therapy, and during therapy, like things look better, right? Like, oh my God, like they're listening to us, they're hearing our concerns. And then, we go home, regular season, and they just go right back to being the same freaking toxic partner in a relationship. It's just one of those things where we know it, but at this point we have the Stockholm syndrome where we just our captors are now like our closest confidant. We can't help ourselves but keep going right back into this.
We keep coming back for more, and we love it. We love eating off the same hot platter of garbage that they serve us every single year, and we're happy with the little scraps that we can get. You've seen that movie, The Platform? Where
yes, I have. Yeah, it keeps rotating.
By the time it gets to us, we're over here. That's why we fight with each other, because we're all just mad at each other. We don't fight. I always say we don't fight with any other franchise. We fight amongst ourselves because we are that
100%
flustered.
Man, this team is blasphemous. Listen, that's my first time I've ever gotten a comment on X. I didn't even know that was optional now. So, all right, you can comment now on X, which is awesome. So this team is blasphemous. I can't see who the individual is, so I apologize for not calling out your name. But you're right. This team is blasphemous. This team is abomination to NFL football. Like, because it's just the ways the new ways they find to break our hearts. Like, it's impressive to me. It's every season, like, okay, last year, I'm starting to feel like that's the Jets' fault too. Aaron Rodgers goes down with the Achilles injury, right? You know what? I'm blaming that on the Jets. Did that to us. I blame the Jets for that because last year they broke our hearts. We thought to ourselves, you know what? We'll find a way to make the season still count. It didn't matter. It was over before it started. This season, he's actually here, but never really shows us that he's freaking Aaron Rodgers. So this team has continuously found ways to disappoint the fan base. I'm starting to believe that the Joe Namath curse is very much real. I don't know how else to explain it. That a team can be this bad for so long, when this team can go ahead and bring in a player like a Tyron Smith, who's a second-team All-Pro just a year ago. And our biggest concern this year was, can he make it, through the season? Because we know when he's on the field, he's a dog. Even one of the worst offensive linemen in all of football, playing for the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, you're hoping for a top 10 guy. Even if that last year he had in Green Bay was his worst, we'll take that, right? This guy is freaking not even cracking the top 15 like in the NFL. Like, how does this happen to us consistently? At some point or another, I don't want to be that guy, but maybe, just maybe, we're cursed. Maybe we're cursed, and this is just our life.
I think I honestly truly believe now my Garrett Wilson, I have the 17 jersey, and then now that it's Devontae's number, I'm like, this jersey I think is cursed. Like, I almost want to stop wearing it because it just that's how delusional we are. We have to find little stupid things, it's because I dropped my water bottle 2 days before the game started and it fell, at a certain angle, and that's why like we only got kicks on Sunday.
Abby, you want to know how crazy we are? On Thursday, we beat the Texans. I was in full Halloween getup. I had on that blue paint on my face. I had on the hat. I was being the dude from Caroline, the general dude, right? I convinced myself that I had to wear at least the face paint again on Sunday. Then to find out my daughter used it, the last bit of the paint, for some project she had for school. So I didn't have it. While we're getting our asses kicked, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, damn it, B. You should have found some more face paint. Like, I really started blaming myself for the team because I didn't put on face paint like I did that Thursday night game when they played well against the Texans. That's how bad it's gotten for us. Where I'm blaming myself on the couch, like, damn, man, maybe I should have put the face paint on. I'm just as bad as Sauce missing the damn tackle. Like, that's how delusional we've become as a fan base.
There's just no other words to explain it. I genuinely just think we're cursed. I've never seen this happen to any other franchise.
No.
And you know what? Speaking of that,
No.
really quick, never seeing anything happen. Just you saw the play with the fumble and the snap, and then they replayed the first
Yeah.
down.
And then
I
like
have
they
never.
replayed it. Yeah. Ever seen that before in my life? Ever seen that before in my life? And then you tell Olbrich, oh, you can't challenge it because it was an illegal snap, so it doesn't count.
They were rushing
What?
to snap the ball because they wanted to keep the tempo. He fumbled it, but then he's like, "All right, well, why
We
are we
recovered.
replaying the down? Shouldn't it be second down, if anything?" Like, and they were like, "Nope, you can't challenge it at
Illegal
all."
snap. I don't know what happened there, but in actuality, I said to myself, it could only happen to us. This could only be something you would see for the first time ever to the Jets, just because that's just how we roll.
Just like
Roger asked,
sorry, I love Mark Sanchez. Just like the butt fumble, just like
the butt fumble,
Corley dropping it in the right before he gets in the end zone. Just like the flail Mary last year. That shit only happens to our
to the Jets.
team. I've never truly. It needs to honestly. There needs to be a study done on the New York Jets and their organization and the fans, because I like I said, you can't make some of this shit up. Like there's no NFL script writer who would ever have this in the cards for the Jets. I don't know how this happens. Crazy. Supernatural.
That hurt. The Fail Mary. The Fail Mary was something that was epic. that was epic proportions of just failure. It spoke to the fan base that is the New York Jets.
That summed up our season. Going all in on Rodgers just to have it be a pile of nothing.
Yeah, Rodgers says, do you think Aaron will be voted Don't Come Back Player of the Year? I hope so. I hope by that he doesn't come back next year. And we can start the rebuild now. I don't want to have to wait another year to go ahead and start the rebuild. Or even worse, he comes back next year, right? And somehow, some way, he's just good enough to break the playoff drought. And then we get our asses spanked in the first freaking round, the wild card, and we get sent home. And then we're stuck in more limbo because now a guy like Archie Manning's going to come out, but we can't get him because we freaking did too. Like, if Rodgers comes back next year, I want you all to know right now he will cost us Archie Manning. Because my goal now is to find a way to get Archie Manning in 2026. That's my hope. I'm hoping we get some of that Manning magic. We saw Peyton do it for the Colts. We saw Eli do it for the Giants. Maybe Archie can do it for the Jets. Maybe that's how you offset the curse of Joe Namath, because at some point you got to wonder, did he sell his soul for that Super Bowl? Man looked awfully confident for a guy who had some mid numbers all season, you know what I'm saying, to get us that Super Bowl. Now, by mid numbers back then, it was considered, you know what I'm saying, great. But if we're being honest, that wasn't the best quarterback stat line. Some people still question like how he made the Hall of Fame. He made it. He's in there. You can't take it back. It's a wrap. But that stat line was impressive. Archie Manning 2026, y'all. I think that's my answer. My answer is Archie Manning 2026. He could be the savior that we all need to go ahead and turn this franchise around. Otherwise, I just don't know. I know people love Cam Ward in this draft.
I'm surprised you don't like
any quarterback in this draft. I don't like the leadership. I don't think he has the leadership potential. The way the kid he blames his offensive line, the way he leaves freaking games before games are over. Yeah, he's exciting. Yeah, he's flashy. I think a Shador means you get a Dion potentially as the coach. It would be fun, right? But if it doesn't work out, it's more nightmare than fun. And it's going to be a guy who I think is very, very diva-esque. And his dad, obviously, we know, as fun as he is, he's also a massive diva as well. I don't know if the New York market I don't know if they're ready for the New York market if they don't show up and start winning games. So yeah, Dion to me is just, I don't like it. I don't love it. I just don't think he fits the mold of a leader in terms of what you want at the quarterback position. Could he become that? I mean, could he, of course, mature to that? He probably could. Good night, son. But I look at it and I'd rather just go ahead and see what Jordan Travis has for us next year. And if it's great, then great. We got our guy, right? If Jordan Travis is somehow found another way to go ahead and elevate his game like he has at every level, right, to go ahead and prove he belongs, and he does it at the NFL level, so be it. But if not, you know what I'm saying, Archie Manning will be right there for us to grab. And I just like that kid's presence. I like how he's felt some type of way about being benched for I think it's Ewers. What's the guy's name again?
Viewers, yeah, or however you say it.
Ewers, yeah. So I feel like he's a guy with a chip on his shoulder who's been playing football since he was like 6. Has had some great mentorship in terms of what that position looks like. I mean, he comes from quarterback royalty. So for me, I'd rather gamble on that guy and see how it goes. But like I said, what do I know? You know what I'm saying? I thought I knew what I was talking about freaking this season, last season. I know nothing about sports. I don't know ball, as most of y'all would. You don't know. I don't know ball, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Just win. I don't care at this point. Just need to figure it out. They need to freaking win. If it's Shedeur Sanders and Dion that comes in here and starts getting that for us, I would embrace the hell out of it. I'm sick and tired of being here, rebuilding.
Someone just commented, "Is offer given if we go on a miracle run?" I'm like, don't put any idea in my head.
Don't do that.
I want to sleep
Don't do that.
peacefully tonight.
Yeah. Who said that? Who said that
Gordon.
nonsense? Look, I don't know. Man, listen, this is where Don shines. Don, my guy. So he's already hooking me up, and we have a whole little group on Facebook that we on Twitter. We talked every freaking day. We just talk how this team is embarrassing us, etc. But Dom, we hit him up freaking last week, like, hey Dom, you're up. Like, it's time for you to. So Dom, if y'all don't know, man, he does an incredible job at breaking down college players, giving you some analysis in regards to like what their skill sets look like. Go check out his freaking channel. Because Dom, you're up, baby. This is your time to shine, because I'm depending on you to kind of show me some things. And he stated that the only individuals he believes with the first round grade are Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders as well. But I look at Shedeur Sanders, and again, it's not even the talent level. I think the kid's got talent. I don't like the mental makeup in terms of he thinks very highly of himself, man. And there's something about that to me. And I know it's maybe it's because I'm old. I guess it could be because I'm an old guy and I have what leadership's supposed to look like in my mind's eye. But something about the way he points fingers and the way he freaking walks out of before we get, like, to me, that just says a lot. Like, he thinks he's bigger than the team. Like, he thinks he's bigger than the game. I'm not a fan of that. So again, if he winds up being the guy, so be it. But yeah, definitely prospect. Listen, Project Prospect with Dom C. Go check out his channel. It's time for this is where these guys shine right now. He's gonna break down tape, tell you who the cool kids are coming out, so we can go ahead and put some quality product out as just content creators. Speaking of which, we have definitely gone over an hour. Abby, tell the folks where they can go ahead and find you.
Oh, I'm at abs602434 on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok for as long as it shall remain. We'll see here in a couple months. Trying to, you know what, Dunny, I'm trying to get on the Twitter thing. I just like, it's a whole different domain over there, though.
It is. But it's worth it. I'm telling you. Like, I think because of Twitter's how my YouTube channel and Instagram like kind of really they built up faster was because people were going from Twitter and then jumping onto those channels. And the majority of individuals right now that are watching with us are on Twitter. I've got like 80 individuals watching on Twitter with us right now, and 20 or I guess down to 10 now for YouTube. So Twitter's where it's at right now. Everybody's going to Twitter for everything. Like, they're doing great things. Elon Musk has turned it into a mega social media.
Oh yeah, and I'm on there. I'm just reading everyone. You know, I follow everyone I need to know. That's how I get my Jets news almost instantly. So
yeah, same here. That's my go-to.
I'm glad. Is that the only Jets game you're going to? Really quickly, just you went to the Steelers one.
Nah, I was going to go to Miami. I'm not now. I refuse to now. I'm not spending that money to go to Miami. So I called my boy and told him I was good. I appreciate the invite. And then I also had a slot for the Jaguar game. But I also just I'm not paying for those flights to go out there and be disappointed again. So yeah, it's a no for me. It's
yeah.
So I will not be seeing another game live this season. I will be watching this team from the comfort of my couch And when they lose, or if they lose, at least the heartbreak doesn't cost me more money than it needs to.
Right. And I'm not getting up. Like, I used to get up and like get ready, and I'm like, maybe I'll go out and watch
Yep.
the game. No, I'll literally sit on my couch. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And even if they
Yeah.
if they pull out, like, even if they win, I don't even know how I will feel.
Same
I
here.
don't want to see a win.
And
I don't want to see a win cam. Don't when they do the W and after the game? No, miss me with all that.
I think
Just put the
that's what
little
makes it
graphic
even
and
worse.
call it a day.
Yeah, call it a day until you start stringing these things like Jordan says, right? It's all forgiven, and you're right. Let's be honest. Let me reiterate this. We are Jets fans, not players fans are second to this, but we are Jets fans. If the Jets give us a reason to believe in them again, like we started off, because they stopped caring about us, you know what I'm saying? Like it seems like, week 3 of the season, they stopped caring. 4 of the season, they stopped caring. They start caring back about us, then we can go ahead and start believing in them again and walk back through that door in this toxic relationship and give them another chance on this season. But you're right about that, Jordan. It's going to need to be a magical 7-0 run. And they just haven't shown us or given us any evidence that that's even feasible for this team. And I'll be the first to admit off camera, when I got my coworkers running their mouth, I've jumped to this delusion of like, it ain't over yet. It ain't over yet. We can still go on a run. We're currently the 10th team right now in the AFC. We can still get that 8th seed. I've spewed this crap today. So trust me when I tell you, I'm hoping for the best case scenario, but expecting the worst. So 7-0, could it happen? Yeah, it could. I'm not betting on it, and I think I already lost my money for Jets winning or making the playoffs or winning the Super Bowl. I lost money on that already. Although I saw somebody say they were able to cash out and save. They got $12 back. I can probably save some of my money and cash out now. I'm gonna have to.
I had them as like a 7-leg as one of the teams making the playoffs, and right now all the teams are making it except the Jets.
Except for the
They're
Jets,
the only ones.
There's always one, and it's always them. Oh man. All right. I think that's that. That's that. Listen, so you can catch Abby again. Yeah, great therapy session, Abby. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? These rants are needed. I think the fan base needs it. We need it. And again, if you haven't checked out Abs, man, you got to. Her TikTok is the stuff of legend. Like literally, she's speaking to our very souls when she goes on rants, because she's saying everything we're feeling and thinking. She's tuned in to the fan base. But yeah, her TikTok and her Instagram are in the description. Definitely give her a follow. I also want to give a shout out once again to Jets Propaganda for me stealing his content today and sharing that. And I also want to give a shout out to, if you guys aren't tracking this, MH Jets Fan 83, right? New content creator. Listen, man, you're jumping into the game, in my opinion, and in a very tough time, right? Where a lot of us right now are just completely in disarray and distraught. But it goes to show you the passion this fan base has for this team, man. We all want to share our perspective. We all want to go ahead and connect with fellow fans of this team. So yeah, check him out on Twitter at MHJetsFan83. He's also got a YouTube channel and Spotify as well. I watched one of his videos yesterday and again today. Good stuff. So definitely give him a follow. Again, that's MHJetsFan83. He's on Twitter. When you go on Twitter, you can click on his bio and it shows you all of his socials. So again, man, welcome to the content creation game. I wish it was under better circumstances, but either way, the ability to connect with other fan bases makes the pain a little bit more tolerable. So you're coming in my opinion, I guess, what you would call it a good time because all we got is us. The Jets don't care about us, but the fans care about each other. Shout out to Vero Beach, New York Jets, man. 3-month member to Gunny's Fire Team Alpha. So I'm glad you did this, Vero. So gonna type this into existence. 7-0 run, playoffs, baby. Listen, Vero, you're one of the most optimistic Jets fans I know, and I'm hoping you're right. I will manifest that with as much energy as I have to be the truth. I will be doing a giveaway for my channel members. I will be shooting you guys a message in our group chat for this giveaway. I feel like we need something to be positive about. Although some of you guys, I think I'm beating most of y'all in our fantasy football league. So I don't even know if y'all gonna win the freaking jersey at the end of the season. I have to give that away too, because right now I'm dominating in that as well. So special shout out to Vero, man, 3-month member. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate your support. To all my channel members, man, the Gunny's Fire team, man, you guys are G's. I appreciate you guys. We chop it up regularly. In fantasy football, we're chopping it up, and of course in the group chat. So I appreciate you guys, and I got a giveaway coming for you guys as well. So say special thank you before the holidays. Listen, that's that, man. Abby, I appreciate your time.
Always. It ain't gonna be a Merry Christmas, and it sure as hell ain't gonna be a Happy Thanksgiving. But Gunny, I know I wish you one already, but Happy Veterans Day.
I appreciate
you.
Thank you
your
very
service.
Much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a good night. As always, go Jets.